Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'll be showing you guys how I made this beautiful crop top. It's a full top and it has a V shape at the front. As you can see, it's very beautiful and very stretchy, very comfortable as well. So let's get into the video. So for this top, I will be using a 4-waisted weight yarn, and I have a 300 gram with me. I actually did not use everything, and I am making a size medium, but I'll also be giving you guys instructions on how you can make this top to fit your own size. And you also will be needing a measurement tape, of course, because of measurements. And also I used a 3mm crochet hook. So the top was made in 2 panels, which is the front and the back panel, and the sleeves were also made along the way. So you don't have to do any sleeves separately. I'll show you guys how I made that. And for the measurements, you'll be needing your waist measurement, your arm width measurement, which is how wide your arm is, and also your full length measurement, which is how long you want your top to be. And for this tutorial, I will be starting with the back panel and then later on the front panel. So let's get into it. So to get started with the back panel, we will be working a ripped band, which is the band at the end of the top. And so for that, I'm just going to make a slip knot. And I'm going to chain a total of 16. And then after, I'm just going to do a simple half double crochet all the way back to the chain. Coming back from where I started, I'm just going to do 1 half double crochet in every chain across. So in total, you should have a total of 15 half double crochet. So I somehow randomly had a total of 14 instead of 15. So what I did was just went back into the chain and then did another 2 chains, so I can have a total of 15 half double crochet. But if you did the right chains, then you should have a total of 15. I somehow just ended up with 14 instead of 15, so I had to go back and fix that. So at the end of the row, you're just going to chain 1, and this time around you're going to do another half double crochet but in the back loop only, and that is what is going to give you the stretch that you need at the waistband. So I'm going to continue to do this for a total of 15 inches because my waist measurement is 30 inches, and I'm going to be dividing that by 2, which means 15 inches for the back panel and 50 inches for the front panel. So in this case, I'm just going to do the same thing all around until I have a total of 15 inches long waistband, and I'll see you guys at the end. And just go ahead and do the same thing for your measurements. Divide your waist measurement by 2 and just do a waistband that is long as your waist measurement when it's divided by 2. And I'll see you guys at the end of my waistband. So coming up at the end of my last row of the waistband, I'm just making sure I had every half double crochet in that space so I don't have any bend or any uneven waistband. And I'm also going to go ahead and measure how wide my waistband is at this point. And as you can see, my waistband is 15 inches, which is the right measurement. And to get started with the top, the back panel, we are just going to chain 1 and turn. And at this point, you are going to add single crochet in every space available. This is actually a bit difficult to explain, but as you can see, I'm just adding a single crochet just to fill in the space. and it's something you can really tell how much you can add. It depends on how wide your waistband is, of course, but I did a total of 42 rows for my waistband, and at the end of the single crochet row I had a total of 84 single crochet. So it's really something you can just play along with and do what works for you. Just make sure you don't add too much and also don't add too little. Just a balance, a perfect balance along the way. So I'm going to do this for the end of row 1, and I'll meet you guys at the end of the row. Getting to the end of the single crochet row, I'm just making sure I had a single crochet in that last space. And now we are going to start the actual panel, which is made up of double crochets. And this is how it looks at the end of the single crochet row. So to get started with row 1, which is a double crochet row, we are going to chain 1, and the chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, it's just a starting chain. And now we are going to add a double crochet in the first single crochet from the previous row. And now we are just going to continue to add a double crochet in every single crochet from the previous row, which means there is no increase or no decrease on the first row, on row 1. And we are going to do this for a total of 4 rows. So after row 1, go ahead and do a total of 3 more rows, and I'll see you guys at the end of row 4. So coming up at the end of row 4, I'm going to go ahead and measure how wide and how long my top is at this point, because this is where I get to start doing increases for my bust measurement. But this is obviously optional. If you have a smaller bust, then you don't have to do any increases at all. You just go ahead and measure how wide your bust is and measure how wide your back panel is at this point. My bust is 37 inches, and 37 divided by 2 is 18.5 inches. And as you can see, I have a total of 16.5 inches at this point for my back panel, which means I have to do a total of 2 inches increases for me to get to my bust measurement. So what I'm going to do for row 5 is going to start my increase row. So I'm going to chain 1 turn my work, and in the first double crochet from the previous row, I'm going to add my first double crochet, and I'm going to go ahead and add another double crochet in that same double crochet space, and that is what gives me my first increase. And along the way, I'm just going to do a single double crochet in every space until the end, which gets me to my last double crochet for my previous row, which I'm going to do another increase, and that is what is going to balance the increase row for row 5. So coming up at the end of row 5, I'm just going to make sure I do the same increase I did at the beginning of the row. I'm going to add 2 double crochet in the last double crochet space from the previous row, just so I have a balanced increase row. And at this point, you can go ahead and measure how wide your panel is coming together, just so you know how many rows of increase you will need to do for you to get your bust measurement. So I had a total of 16.5 inches wide panel at the end of row 4. So at the end of row 5, I went ahead and measured how wide my panel is at this point, and my panel got half inches wider. So I have a total of 17 inches at this point. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some few calculations and see how many rows I will be needing for me to get the perfect bust measurement for my panel. I did a total of 4 increase rows. So from row 5 to row 9, I did increases at the beginning and at the end, just like I did from the previous row. And at the end of row 9, you can just go ahead and measure how wide your panel is at this point. This is me coming up at the end of row 9. So you can go ahead and measure how wide your panel is. If you need more rows, definitely go ahead and add more rows. If you need less, then you don't have to do increases all the way to row 9. Like I said previously, you can just go ahead and measure how wide you want your bust measurement to be, and just play around with the measurements. So coming up at the end of my increase row, which is row 9, I'm just going to go ahead and measure how long my panel is at this point, because I have to decide when I will start working on my sleeves. And like I said from the intro, the sleeves I worked in along the way. You don't have to do them separately. So I want my top to be 16 inches long, and my arm width is actually 12 inches wide, which divided by 2, like we did from the previous measurement, is 6 inches. So in order for me to have a total of 16 inches alongside my sleeves, I will have to make a total of 10 inches, which 10 plus 6 is 16 inches long. So I did a total of few rows. It's actually more about measurement instead of rows. So I did few rows and then I went ahead and measured if I had a total of 10 inches before I can start working on my 6 inches sleeves. So as you can see, I have a total of 10 inches and I did a total of 16 rows. Like I said again, it's really not about the rows of double crochet, it's more about the measurement. So you can go ahead and measure and you can go ahead and count how many rows you did. This is me just counting and seeing to see how many rows I actually did, so I can do the same thing for the front panel without having to do the measurements again. So that is advice, that is a suggestion you can do. So to get started with your sleeve, you are going to chain a total of 26 inches after your last row. So usually we will just chain one and then turn and start working back, but at this point we are going to chain a total of 26, which for me is just the perfect length for how long I want my sleeve to be. So you can go ahead and measure how long you want your sleeve to be. If you think 26 is a bit too long, then go ahead and do less chain. If you think it's too short, then go ahead and do more chains. This is just something you can play around with. So after the 26 chain, I'm just going to go ahead and cut my yarn and seal off the chain. And I'm also going to do the same thing at the opposite side of my panel. So go ahead and attach your yarn at the end of the panel. And as you can see, I'm just going to make a knot. I'm going to do a few knots so it's really secure and not going anywhere. Go ahead and make a knot and then go ahead and chain a total of 26, or just chain the same amount of chain you did from the opposite side. After a total of 26 chain, you are going to work a double crochet all the way around to the opposite side where you made the chain. So that would leave you with a total of 25 double crochet, on each sleeve. So this is me just working my way all the way back to the end of the other chain I made with double crochet in each space. Just a simple single double crochet in each chain, and also along the body of the back panel and all the way to the opposite side of the panel. So coming up on my row 17, it's just me working double crochet in every space from the previous chain I made. And like I said previously, it's really more about measurements and not about rows, because it's different for every size. Mine is 17, but yours might probably be more rows. Yours might probably be less, depending on how long you want your top to be, and also depending on how wide your arm is. So it's really different. So this is me just working my first row on the sleeves. So I'm just coming to the end, and the rest of the sleeve is just the same thing. Chain one at the end of the row, turn your work and work your way all the way to the opposite end and do the same thing. So I am going to do this for a total of 6 inches. So when I actually check my panel at the end, I should have a total of 16 inches. So as you can see, this is what my panel looks like at the moment. So I'm going to continue to do more rows. I think I did a total of 18 rows for me to have a total of 16 inches plus the 17 rows I did from the previous step. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure and see how long my top is at this point. So as you can see, the first row I did for the sleeve just added a ½ inches to the length of the top, and this is me just measuring how many rows I will need to do. And as you can see, this is the length that I'm going for. So like I said again, it's different for everybody and it's different for every size. So just chain one, turn your work at the end of the row, and then add a double crochet in that first double crochet, and then a single double crochet in every space around. So no increase or no decreases on the rest of this rows, just a simple double crochet along the way until you have a total of your length, your width, arm width. So this is me just working double crochets like I said, and I'm going to see if I need to do more or even reduce the ones I already did. So I'm just measuring. As you can see, the sleeves is actually 6.5 inches, which is perfect. I don't want it to be too tight, so I went ahead and did half more inches. So, and you can see the top is 16 inches long, which means I have my perfect length that I need for my top. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut my yarn, and then the back panel is completed. And for the front panel, it's basically the same thing. You are going to do the same step all to the end. So like I said, I did a total of 17 rows before I started my sleeve. So that is what I'm going to do for the front panel, a total of 17 rows after my ripped band. And then I'll see you guys and show you guys how you can start the V-neck lining on the top. So coming up on my front panel, this is a total of 10 inches long and a total of 17 rows of double crochet. So coming up at the end of the 10 inches, which is 17 rows for my own panel, I am going to do the same thing I did for the previous panel, which is just chain 26 at the end of the row. And this is me chaining 26. You can go ahead and do the same amount of chain you did for the back panel, just so you have even sleeve and nothing is just too long and too short. So now I'm going to work, instead of like cutting my yarn like I did for the previous panel, I'm going to work my way all the way back to the center of my front panel, because this is where we start doing the neckline. So this is where we are going to start decreasing for the neckline. So coming up to the center of your panel, you're just doing a simple single double crochet in every space. So you can go ahead and mark and fold your panel into two and mark where the middle is. I am just freestyling this at this point because I don't know. But I would advise you to go ahead before you start working on your sleeve to just fold your panel into two and just mark where the center of your panel is. So because that is where you're going to stop double crochet for the one part of the sleeve. But I was just working my way around instead of marking, probably because that's what I always do. So if you're a total beginner, I would just advise you to do that before you start working on your sleeve, so you don't go through the stress of finding your center double crochet while you're working on the sleeve. So coming up, I'm just going to fold my piece at this point so I can see where the middle is. And instead of unfolding it, I'm just going to keep it folded and just working my way to the center with double crochet. And as you can see, this is how it looks. So from the previous panel, we went ahead and did a double crochet all the way to the end. So because of the neckline, we will not be doing that. So we are going to stop right at the center, as you can see. And now we are going to chain one and turn and start doing the decreases for the neckline, because we are going for a V neckline. So instead of adding one double crochet in that first double crochet stitch, we are going to skip it and go right into the second double crochet stitch, which gives us our first decrease for the neckline. So along the way, all the way to the end, we are just going to do a simple double crochet in each space. So the decreases are just at the beginning of the row, which is the center of the panel, that gives you the V neckline. So coming back up at the center of the top, we are going to do another decrease like we did from the previous row, but this time around we are going to go ahead and add the two last double crochet together and make it to one double crochet, if that makes sense. So you're going to go ahead and act as if you're doing a double crochet in the second to last double crochet. So instead of ending double crochet, you are going to go right into the first one and decrease both together, and then chain one and turn and do the same thing like you did with the decrease row. So instead of going into the first one, you go into the second one, double crochet and double crochet your way all around to the end of the row. So for the rest of the panel, you're going to go ahead and do the same decrease. So you're decreasing in each and every row. You're going to do that for a total of 6 inches, which is my measurement. You can go ahead and do that and just change it to your measurement. I did a total of 18 rows, which is 6 inches. Do the same thing you did for the back panel, right again at the front panel, and at the end, when you have a total of 6 inches, which is also should be 16 inches in my case for the total length, you're going to go ahead and attach your yarn at the opposite side of the panel and do the same thing that you did on the opposite side. And that is where you come to the end of your top, and I'll meet you guys at the end and show you guys how you can sew both panels together. So now I have my front panel completed, and as you can see, everything is just sitting at the right place. This neckline is necklining. The sleeves are there, and I'm just going to go ahead and attach my back panel to my front panel, and I'm just aligning both of them together so they are sitting at the right place, at the right space, and at the right time. So I am going to use single crochet to attach both slip panels together, but you can go ahead and do whatever works for you. You can use a slip stitch, you can use a yarn needle, you can even do the single crochet, even double crochet, whatever works for you. There is no rule, just do what works for you. And I'm just showing you guys where you're going to attach so you don't close your armhole, because you need to put your arm through the armhole. So you're going to attach the sides like I'm showing you guys, and then the top of it, and do the same thing on the opposite side of the panels and all the way down. And I'm going to slip stitch both together, and then I'll meet you guys and show you guys the final top. This is the final top, guys. I really enjoyed making this video. I hope you guys really liked the video, and I hope this tutorial was easy enough for you to actually make one yourself. If you do, don't forget to tag me on Instagram on Me and Crochet, because I would love to see what you guys made and also the colors you went in for, because I love this orange color that I did go for. And if you like videos like this, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up so I'll know you guys enjoy videos like this, and it's also going to help my channel to grow. And if you want to see any tutorial, or you have any questions at all about this tutorial or anything, don't forget to leave them in the comment section below. I'll definitely make time to answer those. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, because you don't want to miss out on my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Ciao, ciao.